Hi, it's the Bright Queen, and today we will be doing a pick a card that is called What is Calling You? I'm so happy you're here with me. This was something that I woke up feeling called to do, so here I am doing it. To be honest, the lighting might irritate me a bit. I might move around even though I don't want to, but I don't know if I like the lighting. But without further ado, go ahead and pick a pile. I have it here. You can pause if you need to. The timestamps will be in the description as well as pinned in the comments. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hi, pile 1. So first things first, today is different. I watched a documentary, whatever you want to call it, on Max, and it was called Look Into My Eyes, and it has all these psychic people on there, and all of their readings are basically done without cards, which is something that I've always been drawn to, and that's why I struggle or I compare myself to other YouTubers, because they always have a lot of cards, and I'm like, I don't need all those cards. I just know stuff, and I feel like, I don't know, I was letting my audience down. But seeing that documentary, I was like, that's my jam, that's what I'm gonna do, because every single year, especially around, my throat, around the new year, I always get more gifts. More of my gifts come online. And the ones that have been coming online is like a psychic smelling, which is called Claire. I don't know. I forget what it's called. And also like the premonition dreams, where I can see the future events in my dreams. But this is one that I've had for a while, which is like claircognizance is really strong, just knowing and not needing a lot of cards. So this is how your reading will go. The first half of your reading will be focused on what is calling you, and I will use a single oracle card for that section, and then at the end I will get any channel messages that want to come through from your ancestors, from your soul family, from your guides, from your highest self, from spirit, from a butterfly, whomever, whatever wants to come in. I'll probably use tarot and or oracle cards during that section, or I might not. And then I'll get like special messages from this book, The Book Thief by Marcus Suzak, because I feel like I should, and I like to use books in my readings. So I want to kind of start already with your energy, what's calling you. And you'll have to be more patient with me this time, because I've never done this before, or at least not like this. So there was someone in high school that you had a crush on. Me and my best friend in high school used to call this person the weight, because it was like they were a weight on your chest, but they were also someone you had to wait on to choose you, or either not choose you, but you couldn't do it yourself. Like, you were so enamored by this person that you gave that right over to them. There's this movie called Hate Ship, Love Ship, where this is kind of a thing, and bear with me, because I feel like you feel like how is this relevant? But it is, because our subconscious is the part of the iceberg that's beneath the surface, and that it's much bigger than the one on the surface. The one beneath the surface rules us. So this is important, so be patient. 413. There was a person when you were younger, I'm sure everybody here went to high school, and they were your weight. And there's this movie called Hate Ship, Love Ship, or Love Ship, Hate Ship, something like that. And it's about that game. But I always loved that movie. I watched it twice, back to back, because in the movie there portrays a woman who is desperate for love. She's desperate for love. And she sticks by this guy's side, even though it's embarrassing, even though she feels a lot of shame and is shamed by other people for wanting him. she sticks with it and she takes care of him. And eventually he grows to love her and they get together and they have a baby and they live happily ever after. And the reason that I bring this up for you is because there's a lot of portrayals in films, in books, in shows, in just culture, and songs and art of like this disdain or this unappreciation of a desperate woman in particular. You don't have to be a woman. And it's made, what was portrayed a lot in the media, especially around like the early 2000s, is like the girl that's like quiet and reserved and doesn't share her emotions and is like pulled back and like disinterested is the one that gets the guy. But like, why is that? Why isn't the girl allowed to be expressive? And why isn't that appreciated? And I feel like what's calling you is this call back to that version of you. And it's something that I resonate with well. And you might have this too. Let me know in the comments. When I was younger, I used to just do everything. I used to write all these stories. I used to sit in my room and like make inventions. I was obsessed with everything, to be honest. I would try to make pins out of bottle caps. I would design clothes for spies. I would do all these things. I would write poetry and I would hold nothing back and I would share them with my mother and whoever I could get to listen. These great ideas. I would create dance routines. I would have these ideas about food and how it could be consumed. And as I got older, I feel like reality told me relentlessly that being that way was unrealistic and not allowed and unappreciated. And so before, where I used to have journals after journal filled with these little stories about witches and people who used trees as weapons and clouds with different languages in them, I still have my journals, but they're filled with more real life stuff. And I feel like this is something that's connected that you lost with a particular person in high school or when you were younger and you loved them and you were you were enamored by them and you were obsessed with them and you never said so. Look at this. Yeah, look at this. The throat. You never said so because you were told, you were taught that the only way that people would want you is if you were less, is if you didn't show your desperation, is if you weren't ashamed because you were nonchalant. But that's not true. And I feel like at this point in your life, because of all the work that you have done, people are starting to show up who support that old you, that hypothesis that you had when you were younger, that if I just expose myself and explore myself, everything will work out, if not how I wanted to, but better, or maybe exactly how I wanted to. I feel like that's also something, like we're told that things can't work out how we want them to, that we have to settle for alternates, for understudies in life. And I feel like you need to revisit that. And since I keep bringing up writing, I know that you are being called to write again. And I keep feeling these little quivers of emotion. It's reminding me of Paul from Dune with Timothy and Zendaya, and how he was the chosen one. He was the prophesied one. But he didn't want that role because he knew that it came at a cost of people disassociating him from humanity. He knew that it would lead to people bowing to him and giving themselves away to him, which would be kind of a fictionalized version of himself. But he had to. Like, he had to, because it was said in Spider-Man 2, the multiverse one, and it's been said a lot of times, but it's basically like the line in Spider-Man was like, you put on that captain's uniform because you know that if you don't, someone else will, who won't honor that position. And I feel like you've been avoiding that power. You've been avoiding that position. I feel like you are a writer, and I feel like you can outwrite many people that you see who are very like popular and famous. And it doesn't, like, it's not a competition or whatever, but it's like you've given that spotlight up and you've let other people win, so to speak, and take your place because you're afraid of the power that comes with that throne that you're supposed to be inhabiting. And you don't see it, but it's connected to these emotions that you had as a teenager. Because I feel like, like, we don't trust our bodies enough. And I feel like you need to stamp that. Clock that. We don't trust our bodies enough. But especially when we're young, our bodies know. And I feel like you had this urge to tell this person and to pour it all out to this person. And I feel like maybe it wouldn't have worked then to draw them to you, but it would have worked eventually. And I feel like you would have needed that power trip, almost. Like you would have needed that confirmation that you were who you thought you were. So let me give you an example. Like, let's say you poured your heart out and were open with this person. And maybe at the time they were like, I don't know, I'm gonna go into this person who's less interested in me. But after high school, the next year, they reach out to you and they say, man, I remember how you treated me and like the whimsy of it all. And I want to get to know you now. But because you held back, you didn't get that power trip. You didn't get that stamp of approval from the outside world that your manifestation abilities are manifestation abilities. And I feel like you need to almost go backwards, which is to right now, to clear that up, or maybe even to reach out to this actual person if you can, so that no part of you is left unresolved or unfree. I almost don't want to get a card now. When I was shuffling, the deck was like, just let me rest. And so I feel like that's another message for you. Whatever it is you're doing now, especially for your career or whatever it is that you spend most of your time doing, I feel like you've been wondering, like, what should I do? The next step for you to do in that area or that field is to let it rest. Like, don't try to knead it, like a dough, and you knead it enough to like get the gluten or whatever the fuck like formed, and then you need to let it rest. Like, just let it rest, and it will show you whether or not it's worthy of you. It will show you whether or not the bun is going to rise in the oven. And I feel like that's something too, like maybe your sister is pregnant or somebody recently, a bun in the oven, maybe like a coworker or somebody, and I feel like you see them and you feel like detached from what other people consider to be like the steps of life. And you could have children, you could already have children, but I feel like you know in your bones that like you're just different and you don't want to do things even the different way of how people are doing things, because there's like the traditional parenting and then there's like the non-traditional parenting, and I feel like you don't fit in either. And it's one of those things like with me where I always used to say, when I used to hear people talking about star seeds, I used to always feel like, even though I feel like I visited different places, for specifically Mintaka and Atlantis, which is, you know, technically I feel like here, not really a starseed place, but you catch my drift. I used to always feel like I visited these places, but I never felt like I was from them. I used to always say that, like, I don't feel like I have origins this small almost, even though it's not small, but I always felt like I was from somewhere greater than even the rudimentariness of other starseed planets, because I feel like as long as it was inside of like this game, then it wasn't me, because I'm bigger than this game. And I feel like that's how you approach, that's how you know you want to or should approach parenting. I feel like you're one of those people where you always know what to do. Like you have it in the back of your mind. For example, I want to get locks. I want my hair to be locked up. But you doubt it and you wait on it. You wait on something, or you build that courage a lot. Like you wait on it to build, but you already know what you need to do. And I feel like you might be angry at me right now because it's like, but I don't know what to do. Like, how do I get $1 million? How do I get this property? How do I get this business started? And I'm not telling you that. I'm telling you is that you know little steps. You know little things. I remember when I was in 3rd grade and my teacher was teaching us how to, I don't know, she was teaching us some sort of math. I don't know if it was multiplication, addition, or what, but she told us to build a house, you need to have a foundation. You always have to start at the bottom. You cannot start at the top. And that's such a simple thing. But I feel like because of things like TikTok and YouTube, what have you, we don't see a lot of the bottom. People don't advertise that shit. They advertise the top. People, when they're in these relationships, they don't post when they're crying in their car. Some people do, but it's rare. They don't post when they're arguing. They don't post when they had no food and they had to sleep for dinner. They don't post when they couldn't get their nails done, when they couldn't get the new car. They post the new car. They post the top. So I feel like it's also something that you're being called to do, is to devalue the surface level of other people's lives. I feel a card in this deck. It's called, it's like the Hand of Fatima, and it's like this. Give me a second. So instead of getting a card, we're just gonna trust myself and the one that I picked out from this Rumi Oracle deck, and these will be your channel messages from someone you met in the past when you were very young, who was a woman. I feel like you didn't have a lot of interactions with her, but you always felt like she was yours, and like you were supposed to be birthed closer to her, but for some reason in this lifetime you weren't. I can never leave you. Not for a moment, not for an hour. You are in everything I do. You are my everything. My drink is your sweetness. I move to your command. I am surrendered prey in your hands, and you are my consuming lion. Your soul and my soul are truly one soul. I swear to our one soul, I long for no one but you. In the garden of your grace, I am only a germinating sprout. The crown of my blooming is the desire to be in your arms. My hand watches over you. It brings you blessings and comfort, protection and grace. Radiant with divinity am I, and you are my child, my beloved, my angel, and my body too. I shall never leave you. Turn your inner eye to me and see the light of my grace in your heart. You cannot be harmed. You cannot be defiled. You can only ever be what you are, me, alive, radiant with love. You are giving birth to more spirit than you have ever held before. During such time, the divine midwife can help us be supportive. This is Fatima, radiant daughter of the great beloved, who reaches from the skies, who reaches up from within your body, from deep within the earth, and brings you the gift of protection, grace, and love. I heard stillness. You are safe. You are held and you are bound within her warmth. She has received your prayers and she honors your devotion to life, to love, and to growth. She will help you. Ask for her blessing daily. You can use this simple sacred honoring ritual to do so if you need guidance on how to pray to her. But any words from your heart spoken in authenticity will suffice, no matter how simple or ornate they may be. She responds to the feeling behind the words, and she responds instantly, beyond time and space. In fact, she has responded even now, perhaps before you even knew she was needed. I feel like you will be noticing a lot of hands. And the hands is this person who I feel is passed on. This is them saying, I'm here. And maybe look up like the spiritual meaning or the meaning of the right hand. Maybe go get a hand reading, whatever you feel called to do. I would like to greatly encourage you to subscribe to my channel, to leave a comment. You have no idea how important leaving comments are, even if it's just a simple heart. I would love that. I would appreciate it. I am also doing personal readings at this time. You can find information on that in the description, but mostly you just need to email me and say, hey, Jabria, the Bright Queen, Queen Sensitivity, I would like a personal reading. I hope you enjoyed this. Thank you so much for sharing your energy with me, and I will see you next time, and maybe in another pile. Bye. Pile 2. This reading will be different than the ones I usually do. I saw a documentary called Look Into My Eyes on Max, where the readers didn't use any cards and they just use their intuition, which is something that I naturally do anyways. But I always resisted because of how other people do their readings on YouTube. So I'm not doing that anymore because I got inspired by that. And so basically we're gonna use one card for the first half of the reading. And then during the second half, should I feel called, I will use tarot and or oracle cards to get channel messages for you. But so far, I haven't used any cards at all. I feel like for you, I am gonna use one. I feel like there's one in this Rumi oracle deck that wants to be used. I feel like it's this one on top. So, what is calling you? I don't need long, I was just pretending. I already know. You're a cartoon lover. I kept seeing Shrek in my mind, and then hearing that song, I'm in love, I'm in love, I'm in love, I'm in love. I think it's from their honeymoon scene in Shrek 2. And I'm seeing like anime and stuff. And I feel like the way that I just leaned up just now and like am more intimate and comfortable, I feel like you're a hopeless romantic. But I feel like there's also like a sharpness to you. Like you also might be a very prepared person. Like not as extreme as a doomsday prepper, but like I feel like you maybe carry a knife with you or perhaps a gun or a baseball bat. Like you carry a taser, pepper spray, you carry something with you. And I feel like it stems from this sense of like unease and like not being protected. And perhaps not even being believed. Something that was showing in my brain at the end of pile 1, which I knew was for this pile 2, was this scene in that documentary that I saw called Look Into My Eyes. And bear with me, you will have to be more patient today because all of this will connect to what is calling you. But I feel like what's calling you, let me just go ahead and I guess tell you why, like the premise of all of this is because there's this pain. There's this pain and this fear within you. I'm seeing this yellow leaf and it's like almost completely yellow and like brown on the ends. And it's all the rest of them are green, but this one is like yellow. So I feel like there's something that happened when you're about 5 in kindergarten and it's put like a sense of fear in you. You know how like religious people are like instill the fear of God into someone. Like they say that fear is healthy. I remember talking to someone and I asked her how she was doing. And she said something like staying humble and like making sure to fear God or something like that. Something when you were younger where someone or some people somehow put the fear of God in you. But I was watching this documentary and there was this guy and he picked up on a person that had passed on that was into something, but nobody in the room said they had any connection. And like he was saying in like the post scene that he doubts himself all the time and whether or not what he's saying is like bullshit or not. But I'm like, when you feel something that strongly, even if the people like you're talking about don't resonate with it, they do. I have clients sometimes when I give them when I pick up something or I feel something and they don't resonate with it, or they tell me they don't resonate with it, but I know that they do. And I feel like this is something you need to know because I feel like, I'm feeling like this energy here. I feel like people have convinced you that you're wrong about something and you're not. And I need to speak on this because I can feel like this oppressive presence coming in to like try to make me feel like I need to shut up or like even make me forget what I'm talking about. Like this memory loss, this memory fog. So you might not even remember most of like your early years of childhood, or like maybe people in your family have like told you it was this way, but you remember it being that way. So let me tell you something. 2 things can be true. In this spiritual gang or spiritual collective, whatever you want to call it, I feel like it's not an appropriate word, but there is time and then there's no time. I feel that we always exist in no time, but we're in time as well, like temporarily or whatever you want to call it. And so let me see how can I give you this without like confusing you. Basically parallel realities. I feel like what might be the case for you in particular is that your earlier years were in a different reality than this one. And so the little memories that have not been fucked with from your childhood have not been manipulated by the people around you, the ones that you're sure on. Like, let's say, for example, you're like, I remember watching this video and somebody was like, I used to go to my grandma's house in South Carolina every summer when I was younger. But they tell me that my grandmother died before I was born and we never went there. But you have these memories of going there. Could be that you crossed to a different timeline, so you're not crazy. That's what's calling you, I feel like. And I feel like when you have like these weird feelings or this sense of deja vu or this sense of like something is supposed to be this way, but it's not, you just cross to different timelines. It's one of those gifts that you have where you're able to do that. So do some research into that or start watching shows like that. There's that one on Netflix with something time travelers. Back to the Future, something. I also picked up this crystal, which is rhodonite, but this card is screaming at me to pick it up now. And I feel like the reason why is because you need evidence. Like, I feel like because of this memory thing, and then also like the gaslighting, like I said, you're very protective of yourself, like scared. And that's why you keep whatever weapon you have, you keep it on you. And so like you also need like physical evidence. Have you ever like been afraid that you have schizophrenia? I feel like you should look into what other cultures think it is versus what the westernized world thinks schizophrenia is. Native American, indigenous people, I would say start there. And I would highly encourage you not to go online, because even that is manipulated and it won't show you certain things, even if you type it in. If you can find some sort of elder, if you can go to Mexico, El Salvador, or just talk to an actual elder about the things that you are experiencing. Because I feel like you also feel like you had like a sister or a twin or a sibling who was very, I'm hearing the clicks, that was very close in age to you, but they never existed in this reality. They were never born, or there was a miscarriage or something like that, but you're sure they're around. And I feel like that's one of the things calling you, is this sibling. Like maybe they need help in their alternate reality, in their timeline. And they're like, maybe they don't have you in that one, or maybe they lost you in that one. So they're praying to you, they talk to you because you passed on in that reality, but it's coming to you here in this one. I feel like this could all get very complicated quickly and could easily make you feel like you're crazy, but you're not. I feel like watching The Walking Dead, since you like comic books and stuff. And I feel like that's also why, because there's truth in art that isn't said publicly or clearly. The Walking Dead, like maybe one of the names in that show, I'm hearing Carl, but that's like one of the only names I remember. But one of the names in that show, and maybe also like the places. So I keep seeing this guy. You have the right choice. Give me a moment. Okay. For some of you, I'm going to try to say this gently. You need help. I feel like that's also why I'm being called to tell you to reach out to someone in person. I feel like you're functioning perfectly, quote unquote, and then suddenly you have this overwhelming feeling to not be here anymore or to get rid of yourself. And I want to say that this is probably most likely due to you being attacked. So, if this is resonating with you, tell someone you trust, call a hotline in those moments. But obviously those are very generic responses. I do want to say, you don't have to listen to me at all. I'm not a professional in terms of any medical or mental health. I'm not a professional. But I also understand what it's like to know that certain routes will lead you nowhere. This is what I will tell you. I'm seeing someone in a forest. If you can find a forest near you, I would recommend like during a sort of burial of yourself. That's a thing. It was in that show, I think, 9 Perfect Strangers, where they buried themselves and obviously not their faces so they could breathe, and then sat there for a while and came out. That type of therapy would help you, like burying yourself safely. I would also highly recommend listening to any activations by Ramona Lappin, because you need something very strong and powerful. If you search through her YouTube channel, she will have some for free in her description. You just have to look for them. If not, she has one that's only $11.11, I think, which is fairly cheap. That will help to clear some of the attacks that are happening. And I'm seeing simply going to a church, going to like the sanctuary of a church, especially one that's older. They might have holy water there. Like, you'll know which one. There might be one near you. Go to a church, sit in the sanctuary, because I do feel like there's attacks. And the first thing you need to do is like get back into your power and feel safe and become aware of what's happening before you can snap your fingers and dissipate the attacks. Because it's nothing, there's no one more powerful than you. There's no one who can make you do anything or harm your soul in any way. So it's just a matter of like getting to a space where you're yourself. And I feel like when you're in these panicked spaces, you're very vulnerable. If you have to work a lot and you can't just leave to go to a forest, you can't just leave to go to a church, try listening to praise music. I would highly recommend Black people. That's what I listen to. When I think of church music, I don't think of anybody else. There's Tamala Mann. Yeah, Bring Me to the King. Break Every Chain. That song, I got the victory. I got the sweet, sweet victory in Jesus. For me he died, but he rose on a Thursday. That's why I have true victory every day. Like, listen to stuff like that. Yeah. And simply call on Jesus if you need to. I don't think I'm going to read from this one. But I'm going to get you a message from this tarot deck. Any messages that want to come through. Oh wow, and I just realized this is the Medicine Woman Tarot, which is a Native American inspired deck. What do they need to know? Okay. Okay. Yeah, two of cups. Like, are you in a romantic connection right now? And like they don't understand, like, or you're like irritated because like you can't be easygoing like you want to be because you're going through this. Apprentice of Stones. Two of Arrows in reverse. Seven of Arrows. The Tower. I feel like this one is in reverse. You're coming out of this. This ain't gonna last forever. This is not gonna last forever. Okay? Remember that. When you go to sleep or when you're stressed, remember that Jabril said this ain't gonna last forever. This not gonna last forever. I actually have a sound bath on my Ko-fi page. I will put that in the description as well, because that also helps to cleanse. It's a cleansing sound bath. You could try taking an actual bath. Like if you can't, I feel like also like going to a graveyard and like getting, if you can legally, I'm sure you can because there's like trees and shit. Yeah, I feel like, whereas Pal 1, they weren't speaking and that's why they had this throat chakra issue. Yours is like someone like trying to keep you from remembering something. Like it's from the outside. If you can like get like this stuff is called hot foot. And you heard me right, hot foot. It's an African-American hoodoo thing, but it is composed of graveyard dirt. If you can get some graveyard dirt and like keep it on you, I feel like that'll help. Because I feel like what it is like the dead protect you. And this will relate to some sort of video game or something, you know. Yeah, I feel like I don't need to like read these cards because these are the messages. Like, this won't last forever. If you can't do the advice I told you about the forest and the activations and the sound bath, if you can't afford it or you can't go to the location, listen to Baptist Christian music. Call on Jesus if you want, if you feel comfortable. Get graveyard dirt or hot foot. You can probably order it off Amazon too, the hot foot stuff, or probably even graveyard dirt or Etsy or whatever the fuck. But you can also get it for free if you go yourself. And never mind if people think you're crazy, or never mind if you're not religious. Whatever is helping you, do that. Yeah, I feel like there's some sort of like knight in shining armor or a white horse. But like, it's like you can't reach them or you can't connect with them because of this. I'm hearing like a last message before I get to the book thief is like, the people that are like giving you advice, they don't have good advice. Let's just leave it at that. This chapter is punishment. On the ration cards of Nazi Germany, there was no listing for punishment, but everyone had to take their turn. For some, it was death in a foreign country during war. For others, it was poverty and guilt when the war was over. When 6 million discoveries were made throughout Europe, many people must have seen their punishments coming, but only a small percentage welcomed it. One such person was Hans Huberman. You do not help Jews on the street. Your basement should not be hiding one. At first, his punishment was conscience. His oblivious unearthing of Max Vandenberg plagued him. Liesel could see it sitting next to his plate as he ignored his dinner, or standing with him at the bridge over the Amber. He no longer played the accordion. Oh, there's a spider on here. his silver-eyed optimism was wounded and motionless. That was bad enough, but it was only the beginning. So what I heard from this is like, if you're having suicidal thoughts or like random thoughts telling you to like jump off a bridge or to just do something that like harms you, those are not your thoughts. Like I said, there's something around you or voices around you like telling you to do this stuff. It's not you. As I said before, you don't have to listen to me. If you need to, go get help from a professional. However, if this were me, because it has been me, I would amp up the protection, start wearing more black crystals and selenite. I would get black sea salt. I would get like all the protection stuff I could. But if like my funds were limited or I didn't have access, I would do the other things that I mentioned. If you really want to listen to my sound bath and you can't afford it on my Ko-fi page, email me and I will send it to you for free. The link of my email will be in the description. But this is all for your reading, pile number 2. Thank you so much for being here. I am doing personal readings. I do have those available. Information on how to do that is in the description, but it's basically just email me. Please leave a comment if you feel called to do so, even if it's just a heart or a skull. Like this video, subscribe if you haven't already, and hopefully I will see you soon. Wishing you the best. Hey, pile number 3. Thank you so much for being here. We're going to talk about what is calling you, and today's going to be different. I won't be using many tarot or oracle cards because I saw this documentary called Look Into My Eyes, and everybody was doing it without cards, and I was like, I can do that. And I was even getting messages while watching that show about the people in the show. So I decided to do that today. So for the first half, we'll be focusing on what or who is calling you. And in the second half, we'll be getting messages from whomever, whatever wants to come through using tarot and oracle cards. But I will be honest with you, I haven't used much of anything during these readings. So let's get right in. I was wondering when the when the colors were gonna come in, because some groups, like in the collective, they just go by colors. I used to get this green group a lot, but you are orange. And I felt like in the first 2 piles, I had issues with my my throat chakra, but it was only until I got ready for your group that I decided to pick up this crystal, which is blue, so it obviously helps with the throat chakra. And I drank some of my tea, and so it's like, you take care of yourself. I feel like you have a very maternal or paternal energy about you, a caretaker sort of energy. I'm getting that movie I'm getting that movie Land. There's this movie called Land, and I feel like if you haven't watched it, you should. I think you get 2 oracle cards. Yeah, you get 2. There's this movie called Land, and I will explain it, but I think, okay, I'll just explain the part that I'm seeing in that movie Land. You'll have to be more patient with me today. So in that movie Land, there's this woman, and she moves to this very, very isolated area because she is just so removed from the world after a tragedy happened to her. And there's this one guy that comes up there and like checks on her, and he has a dog. And she's there for, I think, years, maybe a year and a half. And he's like, hey, I'm gonna go on a trip. Can you watch my dog while I'm gone? And so she agrees. And for the first time since she's moved there, she has a companion. Then the man just never comes back. And so it's months and he never comes back. And eventually she gets up her courage to leave the land, which she hasn't left this whole time. She's just stayed there and like hunted off the land and fished off the land and like just lived off of the land fully. But she goes to check on him and she learns that he is dying. And he wasn't going on a trip ever, but he wanted his dog to be free with someone he trusted and he knew needed his dog as well. And so I feel like you're that person, pile 3, with that orange color, because that's the sacral chakra. That's like the womb, in my opinion. I don't know. I've been told that I've been wrong before about the chakras and how they function. But that's how I see it. I see the sacral chakra as the womb, or like the creative energy where things are birthed, where things are made. So that's you, but it's also dark. So I feel like orange and black are like your colors that you like embody. Not like a harsh orange, a very soft one. The black space is the womb space, and I feel like there are people who kind of like fear you or step back from you because that black space, that void, that womb is powerful, and they can sense it in you, that you can create anything, or that you can, because you are in that creator energy, you can see them and the seed that they were created from. And I feel like a lot of people might have trouble with that. And I feel like you've found a way to keep your connections very, like your good connections, quote unquote, you found a way to keep them surface level. Like your best connections are the ones where you haven't gone in too deep, because when you do, you know that most people won't be able to handle it, but you're very responsible and you're very giving, very caretaker, loving, maternal and paternal energy as well. Like what I said, like I picked up this crystal, I drank my tea. I also felt like when I was drinking my tea, I felt like there was a bug on there, but there wasn't. So I feel like check your drinks to make sure there's like no bug on the rims or in it. And I feel like bugs might do this with you because they like you. Like I have this thing where like, I don't know, I don't have it a lot, but I do have it sometimes where like, if I'm sitting outside, I have a hard time sitting outside, because if I read out there, they just come to me. It'll be a wasp or a bee or a fly, and they just have to be around me. And I always get irritated, but it's because I have that motherly energy. They just come to me because it's home. A lot of strangers, and I feel like you already know this stuff. So it's like a lot of strangers come to you and they like, you feel like home. So what's been calling you? Let's see. You have dance of the divine feminine. Like you represent the divine feminine. So I feel like what's calling you is to do this more. For some reason, I'm seeing that movie with J-Lo and that old white guy. It's like a dancing movie. Is it Tango or something like that? Where it's like she dances with him. But you're being called to take on that role more and hold back from it less. So it's like, if I'm going to be mother, let me sell cribs. Let me sell ointment. I should be selling sleeping elixirs. You know, I don't even know if that's the right way to phrase it, but that's what you're being called to do. And I really resonate with this reading. I feel like this is talking to me. But it's like, you need to come up with something, some sort of product that you can start giving people, maybe now for free, or samples, and then selling it as a product from you, because so many people need you. They need that motherly energy. And when they come to you, you might feel overwhelmed, or like you can't give them anything because you don't have the energy. Well, now you can say, hey, I don't have it to give to you like this, but I have this. I have this ointment. I have these cookies that I've made. I have this card deck. I have this poetry book. I have something to give to them. And like I said, you can start off with it for free, and then grow into something else. I'm seeing salt. There's no salt on my table. There's Himalayan salt here, and it's actually like an orangey pink color like I was talking about before. So maybe like making bath salts for people. And I feel like you feel like, why would they buy it from me? Like, what do I have that somebody else couldn't do? Like anybody can put Himalayan salt and drops of peppermint oil in a jar and say, here. Like anybody can do that. Like, why would they want it from me? They want it from you because you have that energy, that orange, that black void womb energy. You have it. And what is calling you is that it's time to commodify that. It's time to stop pretending like you're not responsible. This is your role. You are here to do this. We all have our different missions, our different tasks here. And I feel like you've been like avoiding this task and kind of letting the children run rampant. Like, hey, it's their lives. I'm not responsible. And obviously you're not responsible for people's decisions and how they behave. But you also are responsible for if they choose to do better, you are supposed to have a space for them to do better in. And I feel like you've always known this. You've always wanted to create a space, a safe space for people. I was watching this Black woman, I think her shop's called Shawnee's on, it's Staten Island, I think. Staten Island, Shawnee's. This Black woman, she owns her own cooking place, like her own restaurant. And when she thought of like, how do I design my restaurant? She designed it just like her house is, because she said that's where she started cooking, was in her house and selling her food. That's what I'm saying. People want it because it's from you. They want it to be like you're their home, and her restaurant was literally like her home. And I feel like you need to start believing in that part of you, that people want something from you. And I will tell you this as well. She said it took her like 2 years. Like 2 years, nobody like came to her shop. Nobody was buying anything from her. And then eventually it took off. And she has like 2 Michelin's 5 stars now or something like that. And that's how I feel for you. Like, if it doesn't take off right away, if you just have that mix of salt sitting in your room or in your house or in your kitchen and nobody buys it, that's not a sign to stop. It's not a sign that it's a bad idea. Keep going. You might even want to watch that movie, Erin Brockovich. Merciful Mother Jamal. Yeah, see, Mother. Didn't even try. It's just here. Merciful Mother. This was in reverse. It's a number 44. Have you been seeing 44 or 33? I feel like this is something you need to make is to do with your skin. And I feel like you need to show off your skin more, especially like your chest and your shoulders. I don't know why, I just feel like that. It's like it'll attract more customers, more people to you, your chest and your shoulders. And oddly enough, I was gonna do that today. Like with my outfit, I was gonna like look more psychic. I hate, whenever I do these readings, my throat gets itchy. It's like, I'm fine. And then like I do these readings and my throat, it's like itchy. Maybe it's a sign I need to like do this more. But yeah, even this little flower here, like near the crotch, like I feel like you need to lean more into your sensuality. Because I swear I was gonna do that today. And I was like, oh, I'm just gonna throw on this big sweater. I'm not gonna like do that. But I feel like I need to. So maybe in Power 4 I will. I'll change my sweater. Because I feel like I know like the value of my energy. That's why I don't hug certain people. I don't like touch certain people, because I know that I transfer my energy to them, and I don't want their energy to transfer to me. But at the same time, I feel like I need to grow up, and like this is the same for you. Like we need to grow up and become the mother where we can give enough, but also not take on the energy of the child, just like mothers do, you know? You can't, like if your child is having a tantrum, you can't have a tantrum with them. You gotta be the mother. You gotta be in the mother role. And I feel like that's what you need to do. That's what we need to do. Like be in the mother role and like stop blaming our lack of activeness on the children. And this is not in a belittling way to belittle people. And I feel like you already know that. So I won't go too much into that. What I am noticing is like this card here feels like water, and then this one feels like fire. You have both. That's why I kept saying maternal and paternal. Like you are the ultimate parent. Like forget mother, you are the parent. You are the elder. You are who people come to for advice. I feel like people need you. And I feel like you keep pretending like they don't. So you can start small, like I said, with something, a small bag of bath salts, and like posting an email, like sending out an email once a week of just your thoughts, or a prayer for people, or a spell of protection, or just a song that you're into, or 2 lines of poetry. But I feel like you need to start creating ways where you're giving. Because I've said this before, whenever I found myself like holding back and like not sharing as much when I know I need to share, I feel weird. I feel like I have too much in me that needs to be, it feels almost illegal, like I'm holding something that's not mine, and it's because I am. It's not for me, it's for the collective. So I feel like that's what you have to start doing. And I feel like you don't know this. Like you keep thinking like, what's so special about me? But you do things differently. And just your energy in something changes the chemical makeup of the product. So if you don't do anything differently, you give that differently. Okay. Now let's get to the section of any messages that want to come through. I almost want to do the same one again, but it's like saying no. I'm seeing a butterfly. Any messages that want to come through, Spirit, for pot number 3, the parent. Are you in your 40s? Or if not, like, do you give off the energy of like, I'm in my 40s? There's a bug here now. Like I told you, like they just, I'm like, go away, but they come towards me. The cats and stuff, babies, just come towards you. They want to be around you. That is too many, my dear. I'll take about 1 or 2 more. It's not 2, but okay. 4. Yeah. 4 of Wands, the Chariot. You need to, yeah. They're saying, go forth. Go forth. This is coming from your spirit team, your guides. They're like, do this. You don't even need to worry about like whether or not we like got your back or not. just do it. Even if you fail, even if you need to try again, even if you make the wrong kind of thing, even if your desserts don't taste good or whatever, do it. Charge forth. Celebrate. Six of Pentacles. Yeah, they're saying like anything like takes hard work. Anything takes like growth. Everything takes growth. Nobody got it right the first time. Like, it's okay if you need to keep adjusting. If you've already tried something like this, try it again. Like, I'm hearing like with me, I have like a sound bath that nobody ever bought. It's like, make another one. Make another one. Make an affirmation video. Like, keep going. Like, take the steps that we've been seeing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Like 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. The number 6. I feel like it's like, this is the number 7 actually, but I feel like the number 6 is like, keep building and eventually you will get to that sweet spot. Mother of Swords, this is the Queen of Swords. Be authentically you, especially with how you speak. And speak into your products. Your voice matters. I'm hearing like Black Lives Matter. Daughter of Pentacles. I'm hearing Mount Olympus. This is 3 of Pentacles. I was feeling this earlier. Like, if you need to work with somebody else, like if you need somebody else to like motivate you or hold you like responsible to a certain deadline, or like if you need to tell your friend like, hey, I'm gonna have this done by this time, in order to motivate yourself to have something done by that time, like do so. Like, do it. Like, if you need that extrinsic motivation, like I've learned, like whenever I have someone else counting on me to do something, like I usually get it done early, versus if it's just like me. Yeah, you have the 2 of Swords. Like, there's this indecisiveness and like you're not sure of yourself, but you got this. If you need to, you can pretend like you're somebody else. Like, pretend like this area of your life that we're talking about is somebody else. Like Brenda Song, I don't know. And like she's doing something. You would tell her like, keep going. Like, it's okay. Like, I don't care if like a million other people made lipstick. You can make your own. You can make your own kind of lipstick. You can make your own scrub. Okay, last but not least, we're gonna get a quote from the Book Thief. Tricksters. You could argue that Liesl Meminger had it easy. She did have it easy compared to Max Vandenberg. Certainly her brother practically died in her arms. Her mother abandoned her, but anything was better than being a Jew. In the time leading up to Max's arrival, another washing customer was lost, this time the Weingartners. The obligatory shrimp ferry occurred in the kitchen, and Liesl composed herself with the fact that there were still 2 left, and even better, one of them was the mayor, the wife, the books. As for Liesl's other activities, she was still causing havoc with Rudy Steiner. I would even suggest that they were polishing their wicked ways. So what I'm getting from this is like, you have secrets. You have things that you do that you think are like worthless. Rituals that you do that you don't think are significant, but they are. And the word polished in particular is like I was saying with this card, like it's okay if your first batch isn't up to par. Improve it. The best chefs, the best creators, the best artists, Beyonce, in the world are still polishing their craft. That's the point. That's what it's called, being a creative, being a creator, is that you create present tense. So, subscribe, leave a comment, even if it's just a heart or a thank you. I am open to doing personal readings, so email me. My email address is in the description. And thank you so much for being here. Thank you for being the mother, the father, the in-between, the all-around. And I will see you next time. Bye. Pile number 4. To be honest, I feel like this might be a continuation of pile 3, but like a little more swag on it. Like a little more swag. Like B-side. I feel like Nicki Minaj. But basically today's reading will be a bit different than usual. I won't be using as many cards today because I was inspired by a documentary called Look Into My Eyes, where psychics, mediums were just using their energy to talk and to read cards, which is something that I've always gravitated towards, but like resisted because I wanted to be like, or I felt like the viewers wanted to see more cards, because like that's what makes people click is the cards. But that's what we're gonna be doing today. I'm gonna put this on. With you, pile number 4, I feel like there's a real emphasis on your physical appearance, because I don't know, I got irritated that my eyebrows need to be done. When I clicked play, like they're not done properly, and I felt that like when I started this. And I also remembered that I was like, today I was gonna wear this, but then I forgot, or like I didn't prioritize it. So I feel like you're very detailed oriented. The outline of this reading will be, the first majority of it will be what is calling you, what or who is calling you, and then the second part will be messages from your guides, your ancestors, spirit, your higher self, whomever, whatever needs to come through. I think I might need a little bit longer to like get into your energy, or maybe not. Like maybe this is your energy. Like there feels like there's clarity here. Have you been meditating? I almost feel like you are so strong, pile 4. Like I said, like an upgrade from pile B, from pile 3, the A side, where you're able to like withhold your energetic information from outsiders. And that's why there's like this clarity. It's like there's somebody just messaged me, and that's like impossible because my phone is on do not disturb. When I first got into your energy, I was gonna put this rhodonite crystal back, but then I felt no, and I picked up this clear quartz. Oh, look, clear quartz, and then this rose quartz. 2 quartz. These quartz is a very like a healing, self-cleansing crystal. And I was told the other day that the clear quartz was like the ultimate healing crystal. So I feel like that's you, and I feel like you have knowledge of that. Give me a moment. Okay. I needed to pause. I don't normally need to pause, but I was confused. I was also guided to this crystal, which I've forgotten the name, the name of it. What do people do? But I was told that it's like a healing crystal for healers. Like you are a healer, and I feel like you know this, and I feel like you've already been putting this into action. I do feel like you could do a bit more. So check out pile 3 for that reason. But I feel like with this pile, you're called to focus on love and healing. If you have a romantic connection in your life, like hence the rose quartz, I feel like you should cater to that. Like go on dates and like fall in love, like feel that. I remember I was talking to someone and he kept saying how he was having so much trouble connecting to his guides. And I remember telling him, like, have you tried just like falling in love? Like just fall in love with someone. And if like when you do that, the world will obviously automatically open up. You'll start to see colors differently. You'll start to to feel things differently. And I feel like that's what you are being called to do. That's what's calling you. Like my dog going crazy. She offers the sacred wine, so drink. This card, bottom of the deck, is all about receiving and being open to the physical pleasures of the world. So this will be a great time to have sex with somebody you trust, and obviously both of you consent. This would be a great time to start drinking wine or tasting wine, a different type of wine every week. Taking baths, going on scrolls with yourself. Scrolls? Like going on walks with yourself, promenades. Yeah, like even if you don't have anyone to like fall in love with, I would say fall in love with anyone. I used to do it all the time. Like I go to a coffee shop and make up a lavish story about you and the barista. Go to the grocery store and fall in love with the cashier. I don't know, ask for their social media and like fall in love with them. Like it's so easy to fall in love with people, especially if you're like open and connected. And I feel like that's what you're being called to do. Be love. I'm gonna read this one, but not now. Is there anything else? Yeah, this is a good time for you to like be in stillness a lot. Be in stillness. Don't watch and read so much. Like just sit. I was doing that for a while and then I stopped. Like I did it for like 2 days and I was like, the next day I was on YouTube like the whole day. Like social media is so addicting. That's why I don't have Instagram on my phone anymore, because it's so addicting. You find out, you realize you're there for hours scrolling through things. So sit in stillness. What I like to do when I'm feeling like this, I'll go to Bahama Books, which is a snow cone place, and I'll get me my favorite inner child snow cone, and I'll sit and I'll eat it, and I'll just watch the traffic pass by, or I'll sit outside the store and watch little kids come in their flip-flops and their hats and their parents, and you just feel in the moment, just be in the moment. You could go feed ducks and turtles at the local pond. You could get bird seed and feed the birds at the park. Like stuff like that, that just connects you to the now is what you're being called to do. Okay. Let's read 32 really quick. Yeah, somebody loves you. Somebody loves you. She offers the sacred wine to drink. A wine, like somebody wants like your attention. Like, they're like, ah. O wine giver of the enlightened hearts, offer me the wine of your kindness, for this is the reason you have brought me here from the desert of oblivion. O beautiful wine giver, pour me the wine that gives me insight. Offer me the wine from the sea of love, and fill my heart with pearls, poured into my heart until I shed the veil and go beyond reason. My spirit is consumed by judgment, and my life is reduced by thoughts. Pour that precious wine over the frozen cries of skeptics until their words become warm and their ways become yays. And their nays become yays. But I heard, and their ways become yays. Will you say yes to me? Yeah, there's that book by Shonda Rhimes called Year of Yes. Will you say yes to me? I want to take you with me on a wild adventure. There shall be tripping, stumbling, falling like fools, laughing our most unconstrained laughter as we drink the sweetest of offerings. Raucous and silly shall we be, though undoubtedly we are from the noblest and most royal lineage. Nonetheless, standing inside the tavern, warm and illumined by the golden hearth fires, we will hold on to each other, barely able to stand up straight, crying with so much laughter, sweet wine coursing through our blood. Beloved, you are being offered a gift that is beyond your understanding. This gift is from the hand of the divine beloved, an offering to you that will lift you beyond what you have known into the next opening of your inner eye, of your heart, of your soul, so that it may caress the earth with the light of heaven. This may sound wonderful. Indeed it is, yet welcome though this gift may be, there is a trick to receiving it, you see. When the sweet wine is offered, you must drink, but also be willing to become drunk. You must be willing to let go of your control. You must trust in what will happen, trust that you will be cared for or that you may appear to be the fool. You must be willing to not have all the answers, or indeed any answers at all, my wise soulmate, and trust that this is according to the higher plan and not some inadequate error. So will you accept the gift that is coming to you, the offering that the sacred feminine brings to you now? It is sweet wine she offers. It shall be an enjoyable journey receiving this gift, a wearing away of resistance and restraints towards life through the sheer pleasure of aliveness without thought. Oh, what a journey this is to be for you, so much that is truly wonderful and incredible, sacred and extraordinary waits you, you who are asked to drink from the generous cup of the great beloved is bringing towards your lips. So what if your speech becomes incoherent and you have no words to describe what you feel, or if the world around you ceases to understand you? Could any of that compare to that great bliss of being fully alive, dancing with the divine ones in day's splendor at the beauty of life? This is a party you want to attend, trust me, even though no one will be interested in talking because they will be too busy dancing. Everyone will envy you, though if you open your heart to invite them, too many will say, no, I have to wash my hair, I have to sort through my accounts and count my fingers and my toes. It will take me too long and I will simply won't be able to attend. But you go, of course. You enjoy yourself whilst I am working long and hard at things so very important. And you may hang your head and wonder if you too should stay home and to wash your hair and to tend to your accounts and to count your fingers and your toes many times over, perhaps to make sure you get it right. But then you'll hear that distant sound of clinking glasses, of music, of stumping and dancing and laughter. And you'll think a wise thought, so wise indeed that you will stop thinking immediately after thinking it. That thought will be, forget this to-do list. I am going to have some fun. This oracle comes with guidance for you. Are you having fun yet? Well, you may need to wash your hair and tend to your accounts. That is fine. You may even need to count your fingers and your toes, but over and over again, beloved, surely you can find some time in between the endless to-dos of your to-do list to throw a tantrum and come dancing with me instead. Your honor and commitment, discipline and focus are certainly to be rewarded with some uninhibited nonsense, hopefully. Come put aside that seriousness for a moment or more and allow the wild child in you to take your body and soul for a spin. Together, let's go and paint the town the color of love. I don't think we need your other card. It's like the same thing, resplendent with grace. If you want, you can go on Google and type in Rumi Oracle Deck card 24, resplendent with grace, and it'll show you what it says. But it looks like the same thing. So, a quick message from the other side, or your higher self, whatever, spirit, universe. Loosen your grip. That's perfect. Coping mechanism, density, addiction, let God in. Let loose. Same message over and over. Looks so pretty. It looks so pretty. This is also something I've been thinking about. I'm like, man, I haven't used my accent, my real accent in so long. So I need to talk to people from my hometown and watch videos so I can speak my regular self, because you code switch long enough, or you stay in an area long enough where if you speak how I originally spoke, the people won't understand you, or they'll pretend they don't understand you, or you have to repeat yourself a lot, which is exhausting. So you switch how you talk and you stay in that area, and so you keep staying in the switched how you talk and you forget how you used to talk. And I feel like my voice naturally, like when I speak with my original accent, it's lower, it's deeper than this one. It's like a higher accent. And I feel like that's something like for you, like connect back to your roots and like the deeper voice, especially if you're a woman, because I feel like that's like, it's like you're like told not to speak with a deeper cadence. Okay. So you have this page, which is drawings. All my life, I've been scared of men standing over me. I suppose my first standover man was my father in the crib standing over. But he vanished before I could remember him. Yeah, like it's this sense like having authority over you, telling you what to do, all the to-do lists and what you should sound like, what you can sound like. Sound wild. Get back to wild. I watched this movie called Baby Girl. Like if you've been watching Game of Thrones or like in that serious mindset, switch that, go to watch Baby Girl with Nicole Kidman. And her burst of pleasure that she has in that movie, it sounds like a monster. And I remember reading somewhere that when deaf people have that burst of pleasure during intimate times, they sound animalistic. And that just goes to show that people who hear change how they sound in that raw moment to be more pleasing to their partner, to their audience. But a true one sounds guttural. It sounds monstrous. Tap into that. Power 4. Thank you so much for watching. I honestly wish this reading could go on a little bit longer. So let's let it. Anything else for Pile 4? Anything else? Or do I just need to shut up? Okay. Yeah, the void. You need to just stop. Homesick. Maybe go to your hometown. Longing for home. Homesick for the stars. Does this make you feel something? Things are being woven. If you would like more from me, I am doing personal readings now. I'm open to those. There's my email address in the description. Simply email me, say I want a reading. If you want to know what type of readings I offer, those can be found on my Instagram, which will also be in the description, the link to that. I'm not on my Instagram during January of 2024. January of 2025. So you will need to email me in order for me to receive any notifications. But the types of readings I do are on Instagram and in the pinned post. Subscribe if you haven't already, please. Leave a comment if you haven't already. A heart, a smiley face, a thank you, a thumbs up. Give this video a like, and I will see you next time. Thank you for sharing your energy with me.